Well, we give you an update as to how Wednesday morning is looking in global markets. Well, Tuesday shut on positive cues, especially in US markets. Largely, the US indices were lifted by good corporate earnings. 77% of the 500 of the 300 companies that are out of the S&P 500 have declared better than estimated results for the December quarter of 2021, and on the back of that the Dow gained over 1%. The S&P 500 was also up around 0.9%, and the Nasdaq was up 1.25% in trade on Tuesday. Of course, eyes on the global markets will be on inflation largely. The report from the US inflation standpoint is expected to come in on Thursday, and of course investors will try to extrapolate the Fed's response to that. Moving quickly on to European markets outside of the UK largely closed slightly and marginally higher. Investors were quite cautious given the inflation numbers expected on Thursday. The DAX was up around a quarter of a percent. So was the CAC 40. The Stock 600 was absolutely flat in trade, while the FTSE was down again absolutely flat, but just down around 0.1% in trade. Asian markets as well struggled for direction yesterday, but they've opened slightly positive today. When I look at the Asian markets, they are broadly in the green. The Nikkei is up around 0.75%. The Hang Seng is up 1.75%. The ASX 200 is up 1/3%, while the Kospi is up around 0.8% in trade. The Shanghai currently is the only index which is absolutely flat. It's down pretty much 1 basis point as we speak. Moving quickly on to how the SGX Nifty is looking early in trade today. Well, it's absolutely or marginally in the green rather, up 0.4% in early trade today. Lastly, moving on to commodities. Well, oil prices slipped below the $90 a barrel mark. Definitely good news, especially for emerging markets, and it had regained around 0.25% after it lost out sharply yesterday. It was below the $89 a barrel mark yesterday at close of trade. It's rebounded by around 0.25% in early trade today. Gold is also gaining strongly on the back of that inflation number, which is expected to come in on Thursday, and gold is at around the $1827 an ounce mark. Moving on quickly to currency and bonds. Well, the dollar index is at 95.6 in early trade today. The 10-year treasury yields have hit 1.96% before cooling off in early trade today. It's around at the 1.95% mark. Treasury yields of course rose ahead of that inflation number again on Thursday. So pretty much global markets and commodities guided by that inflation number from the US expected to come out on Thursday. The Bitcoin is absolutely flat. Cryptos in general are absolutely flat, with the Bitcoin at $44,000 broadly. That's how we stand on this Wednesday morning.